I never thought that I would remove Lillian, but I guess I like purple girls because I guess that's purple or lavender. Either way, she cute. What is up, my legends? It's Scion, and okay, so I'm level 45 and I did the ultimate beginner guide, and I wanted to come back again and talk about middle game. We're not at end game yet. End game is not until you at 60, higher up into the evil tower, further ahead in campaign. Like that's end game over there. We're not going to talk about that because I'm not there. I'm not qualified to talk about that. But middle game, I got it. I got you. All right, so we're going to talk about this in the terms of management to make this easier and compartmentalize it. So the very first thing you want to talk about is horseshoe management. Now, what I'm actually talking about that is that you can't do everything in one day. So you have to actually figure out what you want to do within a certain day. And that goes along the lines of whatever's happening. So you go to your day mission and you figure out, okay, so this is arena, so you don't have to worry about too much on the day of arena besides just doing arena and going hard with that. So what that allows you to do is to think about runes. So you go into your excuse me, you go into your actual challenge section and you say, okay, I want to go after certain runes. You want to go after assault runes or vitality runes or various different things. We have a Redditor who is one of the mods and the admins. He did a very good guide on that. I'll put that guide in the description if you have not watched it already. I even said on the actual Reddit that people should watch that. He did a very good job on runes, so I won't even talk about what runes you should go for because that video did it perfectly. But back to this as far as horseshoe management, you got the rune temple, you have the crystal cave, and you pretty much have the normal campaign. From there, you want to figure out, okay, what do I want to do from here? You want to go after runes, you want to go after crystals and go after awakening, or you want to clear campaign. Theoretically, you can't do it all. You have about 1,000 horseshoes in a day that you can actually go through, especially with certain things. And if you do PvP and get more horseshoes, on average is about 1,000. And then you have the event dungeon, which also is going to give you chances at EXP and gold. So kind of, I guess you could say, balance your way through all of this because you do not want to just throw it on Rune Temple and then go away for the day because you're not going to get anywhere in your campaign as sort of grinding. You're not going to get any awakening materials. You're going to be fine with Rune stuff if that's what you want to do, and you should do that on the Rune Temple day. Same thing with Crystal and the same thing on campaigns. You want to concentrate on those individual things when it's according to that particular day, and you should be fine. If you're actually paying a little something in this game, it's even easier for you. So you can just keep refreshing and going after different things as far as, I'll show you guys. Like you can go here for happy global launch. You see, I haven't done this, but if you look right here, 2,500 on your diamonds, you get 4,000 horseshoes. That's pretty. That's a big number right there. Me personally, what I went after is I went after the level up package right here, just the simple one. I didn't go after the advanced one or nothing like that because I haven't really gone anywhere with that, but I did go after the level up package, the minor one. You also have your various areas right here where this again will help you as far as your awakening and everything else, but again, you have to just kind of pick and choose. All right, this is enough with horseshoe. Next, we're going to talk about PvP and match management. Don't ignore this. Even if you lose, you should still go in and do your arena and do your novice arena, and then also take part in guild battles and guild wars. Okay, so your team, we pretty much won that. This is my guild right here. These are new people right there, so I'm not really worried about them, but typically we do a good job of that, and I'm actually going to just going to apply now because everybody seems to be fine. But you also, when you go into your guild war, make sure that you set your team properly because your formation for your team is different in here than it is for PvE. So if you don't set it in here, then you're pretty much going to end up screwing yourself. Just make sure that you actually set it properly. All right, so we're back out of that. All right. Whoops. Go back in there real quick. That was a little bit too fast. Also, you want to pay attention to Mystic Island. Now, I only have 2 things going on right now, but I showed you guys in the previous video about Mystic Island, about doing this little flip right here. Now, I'm actually going to do this again because my ass don't have any horseshoes right now. And you see right here, we have the slime, so we're going to work on, we're just going to take that slime right there. I don't really care about Mia. This Vital Rune, I care. I'll take that. And you see the Frederica pieces right here. But what I really was doing this for was the horseshoes. So now I have 180 horseshoes to work around with campaign with. But you also notice over here when you unlock them that I have a skill book rune for skill book pieces. I have vital rune pieces, which are the combination ones. And you have the skill book, which is 75,000 on the dust, which is a whole hell of a lot, but you get a whole skill book for that. You can only do it once a month. And then you can also unlock this for 7,500K, and you can get skill book pieces that you can actually turn into a skill book as well. It's always good to do that, and then try to get as many of these open as you can, because the more of this that you have out, the more stuff that you can actually farm. Like if you want to create a defense for this, then create a defense for that. Me personally, I only have like 2 good teams that I could put out here that I can defend with. You can put out more characters, but you run the risk of getting beat up and stuff like that. So it's up to you if you want to do that, but you probably should, because you can still get, you know, limited rewards like that unless you get completely beat down. And as far as, I keep doing that. As far as everything else, Arena, make sure that you just come back and you have your proper team out. Hell goes a long way in both Arena and Novice Arena. Is one of the most used characters in the game. Let's see here. Let's go to Hot Merc. This is also a good place to figure out what is what's hot. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, leading into the third part, is Mercenary Management. Mercenary Management is pretty much knowing what you're going to do with each particular team, and this right here goes a long way to tell you what you're going to do with each team, or what you should properly do with each team, and who's being used and who's not being used. Now you notice in Novice Arena, Hell is number 1 by a large margin. Sloan is number 2, and then Marin is pretty good because Marin can shut down Hell. She can screw Hell and then pretty much silence, or, you know, keep her from actually even doing anything. And that's probably that is the reason that Marin is this high up there, because she's just the natural counter to Hell. Yeah, Ares, who always gets used a lot in almost everything, whether it's PvE, PvP, World Boss, and everything else. Maria is a good nuker if she lives long enough to actually do it. Leto is actually a very good DPS as far as multiple different areas, so it's definitely something that you want to pay attention to. In the Arena, you see that Hell again is number 1. Seer is one of the best tanks that you can possibly have. Leto again is up here for PvP on both sides. Britain is pretty annoying because when he attacks or gets attacked, he freezes people. Super annoying. Ares, Ceres, and then Velfern. Velfern is the homie because he just nukes everything, and the more people who are dead on the board, the higher damage that he is going to do. As you go down, as far as PvP, you see what's useful and characters you probably want to just, you know, focus on to go after. Now, World Boss is a little bit different. Here's where you need to actually talk about re-rolling, and the reason why I'm not saying this is because I talked about it in the Ultimate Beginner video. But re-rolling helps you a lot, especially if you got Levia. Levia is a hell of a hard nuke in this particular game, and she's very good for World Boss if you can get her to get her attacks off, because she will get you that big damage to get you higher up on the board. Hell again is out there because she reflects damage, and she's going to get damage as well. Ares, and then Viola does a good job of doing damage as well, and silencing. And Leto again does his thing with damage. Seer, Lillian, Ceres, and so on. World Transport I'm not up to yet, but you see again Hell, Britain, Seer, and everything else. So this does a good job of allowing you to know what characters are hot, who you should go for, and you can also separate them into their individual areas, so you see who or what is being the most used right now. So if you want to figure out a tank or whatever else, you see, interestingly enough, Britain is like that's pretty much crazy that he gets that much burn, but he's actually a very good tank. All right, let's back out of here. All right, so going forward, we're now going to talk about fusion. For people who are not lucky enough to get a whole bunch of different characters, what you can naturally do in this game is you can fuse really good characters. Like, again, here's Leto, and Leto is basically Ingrid. I believe that's who that is. Yep, Ingrid. And this is Mercedes, Melody, and Edan. Now, all of these characters right here that you can actually, you can get easily, they're 3 stars, put them up to level 45, and then you can make Leto. You can keep doing that over and over again just to get his skill books up, or get his skills rather up, and that'll help you as far as your power, because you see just how much that he's actually used. He's a very good unit. You also have Astrid, who I am actually going after, but I don't have Anais. For some reason, I never got her on this account, but as you can see, I have the other characters waiting. I just never got Anais. But she's a very good tank, very useful as far as if you want to have a good solid tank. See right here, she makes enemies concentrate on her, so she has a taunt. Incoming damage is lowered, max HP per turn. Once you get her awakened, no, this is the skill books. Skill books, when you get it to 3, I believe, the enemy additional attack. And then you have to become immune to skill immune to dot damage, which is damage over time. I'm sorry that I saw in my comment section people didn't know what dot was, but damage over time, that's what dot is, and that's an awakening skill. You also have Alicia, who I don't particularly use, but she's a good unit for damage and CC. You also have rip, I didn't want to do that. You also have Sabrina, who is a very good supporter, and she's basically for World Boss. You also have Pharrell, who's also pretty good. He's also World Boss. And then you have Gunther, who's a very good 5-star, who I personally like. He's just good all the world. He does damage over time. He does pretty much hard damage. His HP is pretty high too for a normal character. So definitely want to go in and actually mess with him. You have Celia, who's a champion debuffer. Like, you get her, she screws everything on the field. She debuffs stats, makes it unable to heal, becomes immune to interference attacks, and then on top of that, she blocks the enemies from using skills. So if she goes first, especially like in a PvP environment, she stops everything. Like, she just screws everything. She's a hard counter for a lot of stuff. Now you see, you need Astrid, you need Gunther. Who's this guy? I forgot who this is. That's Lorang. And you need Elijah. Now, you can actually get these characters elsewhere, like banner-wise, but me personally, unless I somehow find, like, I just don't feel that I'm probably going to end up doing this. Now, you can actually get this character, basically, you know, using 3 stars and leveling up. This character right here, you need to actually spend mileage to get. I was lucky enough to do it in 2 tries. But hindsight, I'm telling you that you should probably just not do this unless you don't really care about your mileage, because I had to use 200 mileage and I luckily got it, but you may not be lucky in that case, and this is the only place in mileage that you can get married from, so that's a bit of a problem. And then you also have Orang again, who I don't really use, but again, he's a good character when it comes to the PvP and CCing. All right. So the next thing up that we're going to talk about is campaign. Now, you can farm in campaign and go as far as you want. I've been a little bit falling behind in campaign because I've been worried about other stuff. But it's good to actually overall do that, because what that allows you to do is work on your campaign quest and finish out different items, which gives you more resources. It gives you to actually farm. And the reason why you want to actually farm is every week you have a chance at getting legendaries. You need to get to 1800 to actually do that. You see, in 2 hours, because that's what I'm doing this video, I have a chance at getting these scrolls. Now, they cost 600 a piece, which means you're going to need 1800. And you see right now, from me farming from last week, I haven't spent anything or anything like that, other than just me getting horseshoes every day with like probably like 3. I spent like 90 a day on horseshoes, but I'm up to 1700 right now, which means I only need 77 more, which I'll probably get on the reset to actually go ahead and do these 30 summons for legendaries, which hopefully I'll get one, and it'll be nice for me. But you know, you never know. Sometimes you get stuff and sometimes you don't. So the next thing that we're going to actually go for is the soul gear. Now, soul gear, a lot of people actually ignore soul gear, and initially early in the game you probably should, except for getting soul gear in your co-op. Don't necessarily suggest going all hardcore into summoning in the soul gear shop, because you're going to need your coin, especially if you're not paying for anything in this game. You're going to need your coin. That's 400k to do that 10 times right there. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I also don't suggest doing this with your mileage. You know, use your mileage to go after your octos and stuff like that. That shouldn't even have to say that. Just don't use, not your mileage, don't use your legendary coins and stuff like, don't do that. don't do that. But actually getting soul gear is pretty easy every day, or as long as you go in, and if you have a pretty strong guild, you guys can go in and do the harder levels of the co-op, like normal and hard mode, or like if you have a strong guild. So it's nice to have strong friends who can help you and stuff like that, so they can carry you through, so you can get better soul gear, and then actually level the soul gear up. Now, leveling soul gear is actually, let me go into a character that I actually use with. Alright, now leveling soul gear is a little it's a little right there, because you have your soul gear that you can actually use now. So if you don't have if you have soul gear that you don't want to use, you can actually do that, but don't use anything that's like 100. Like, use, like, if you want to use the crappy 50 stuff and stuff like that, if you're not using the character. But there's a lot of characters that you actually use. Like, I'm not going to use any of these because I need to actually put the stuff on all these characters. Like, all these characters right here have use for all this soul gear. That's why all the soul gear is still here. And I very rarely have soul gear that I don't necessarily need to actually use. So when you actually get something, you can just put it in there. That's how this got to level 7, because I just knew who the characters I was probably never going to use. So I would just use their soul gear to level it up. But it does actually give you a little bit of stats right there. Now that's 3.5, 3.5. And as you get more soul gear and level it up, that actually scales and becomes better and better. And I just want soul gear for Hell, because Hell is, she's just, and then on top of that, she's just a cutie on top of that. So, you know, you gotta represent. All right, next up is friend management. Now, you always want to make sure you send all your gifts to everybody and accept as much, and try to get really good friends and people who are going to be actually playing the game. If you start seeing people not be online like this right here, there's a limit to how much that you can actually get rid of. Then we do 5 a day. So once I start seeing that was Sinnoh Alice. You don't need to pay attention to that. Once I start seeing stuff like that, they're out of my list. So obviously, it's people who you rolled, or people who just quit the game, and you know, maybe they're not having fun anymore or something like that. No, that's unfortunate. See, that's my limit right there. And now I've purged down, and I have about 7 or 8 people that I need to get rid of. And you also have the accept here. Now, me personally, I don't know who any of these people are. I know who I'm a cat is, so. But the rest of the people, like, you gotta tell me who you are. Gotta tell me, because if I don't know, even though this person right here seems pretty strong, I don't know them. So, me personally, I just want to be told. So, if you guys see, if you're in the comment section or whatever else, and you know, in the future, if you want me to add you, you gotta tell me who you are, some type of way. Say it in the comment section, come in Discord and say it or something like that. And everybody should do stuff like that. Don't just add people all crazy and stuff like that, because you never know who's going to be active. They might just want to be on your friends list so they never log on again. Like, that's not helping. All right, 2 more things that we want to go to is you want to actually pay attention to book management as well, because what the book actually initially does is allows you to get and keep track of your growth on all your characters and farm stuff for currency. Like, you know, if you want to awaken this particular character, you go awaken it, you know, level up skills and stuff like that. You know, it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. Allows you to get characters stronger. You see, hell, I actually have something for that, something for that, and something for that. See, this came in there. I didn't even pay attention to that, and I think that pushed me right there around 1800, close enough. Let's take that. All right, so again, this is honor for, you know, pretty much placing different areas. So I'll take that. We'll take all that, and we'll take that, which pushes me over 187. Which means now I get to go mess around with campaign, which is what I wanted to do, to clear up all the stuff. Like, make this pretty much going and get my 3 stars in areas and get myself up to speed, because I more or less have been paying attention to Evil Castle, and I'm stuck on 30 right now, which is unfortunate. And I got to a point where like I was doing okay, and then like halfway through the 20s. It became apparent that I was underpowered, so what I did is I started going for wins and doing whatever I gotta do for wins, and then I go back for clears later. Once you get to 30, as you can see, you get a 4-star selector, you get 50, actually no, I'm thinking you get 125, I'm sorry. No, you get 300 diamonds for winning within 50 turns, which is probably not gonna happen for me. You get to collect a 5-star mercenary, and they don't really tell you who it is, and then you get 50 ancient coins. Now, as you go through all of this, do your best to just try to go through and do whatever you can and get rewards wherever you can. Me personally, I'm just going to go back now that I've done most of this and I see the point of where I got stuck at, which is 30. I'm going to go back and actually go after all of my ancient coins so I can get to my 2nd octo. And that's what I'm personally doing. And last but not least is diamond management. Now, diamond management is all, of course, up to you and how much you want to play the game, how much you are using in the game. If you are spending or if you are a casual. If you are a casual, then you want to keep saving and make sure that you get that 1800 every week if you can, because it reaches a point where you start to run out. And this also is a big thing as far as how do you start the game and if you re-rolled properly. Did you get Levier? Did you get Lucius? Did you get good characters? How well did you start off? Because if you started the game off well, you don't necessarily have to try that hard to go summon, which allows you to keep every week, because you have enough currency to actually do so every week to summon and have enough currency to go after legendaries every week. That's if you started off properly and not wasting diamonds everywhere like that. Don't waste diamonds. Just use them properly in different areas where you can actually gain some type of power. If it's some type of pack or something like that, it's going to help you for awakening. That's all fine and good. But don't just flitter it away on overspending on horseshoes and stuff like that. That's not good. You may level faster, but you won't have a good team. That's not going to work out for you. Another thing that you also want to consider is that spending properly will actually allow you to actually go further in mileage and get yourself up to the point that you can go after a 5-star selection ticket. Now you should be able actually to do that. And me personally, without really trying, I think my mileage is around 30, was at 3,500, but for various reasons I had to spend it elsewhere and didn't really worry about the 5-star selection ticket because I was just relying on the game to push through, which worked out for me. But you don't have to necessarily do stuff like that. You should easily be able to get to that 4,000 mileage as a free-to-play player, as long as you play properly and farm everything and not spend or overspend on areas, and then got a good reroll start. I'm going to reiterate that a good reroll start will carry you a long way, as well as hell will carry you a long way. So just pay attention to that, and just make sure that you're good to go. And that's all I got for you. So I hope this is of use to everybody. This is basically what I've been doing right now, how I've been going about the game, and just kind of being a little bit stingy with stuff that I have. Let's do that. Also, make sure whatever, like you see, I've been coming back here with all this. I only got one thing left here. Make sure that you always do whatever free they give you, whatever event that they have here. Make sure you pay attention to that. I think I got all this stuff. I have to clear one more mission there to get that, which I believe is just the premium stuff. I have to clear that, and then I'll get that 300, which I'm gonna go probably do right now. See right here. Just make sure that you do everything that this says. Everything that says down there, then you're good to go. So I will catch you guys next video. Be legendary. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. If you want to see more Brown Dust, the link is in the description for that. And have a happy Sunday. Peace.